All right, so another quick tutorial. This is going to show a few things in Infraworks that you can do. I already showed you guys how to build a simple Infraworks model using DEM imagery and aerial imagery, but I'll show you a few tricks that I think would be useful to you guys. So in Infraworks, I'm going to create a model of that area that I just downloaded DEM images for. So I'll click New. I'll call this one Japan. I'll save store on my computer. Model extents. Actually, yeah, I got to set a bounding box. So I'm going to actually, let's say I want to download or make a bounding box for that region here. Convert graphics to features. Okay, yep. So then I'll just go and define model extent, and I'll load it from my Dropbox. Use data extents, click OK. Okay, so there it is. So if I zoom out, just to double check and make sure it's right. Yep, it's in Japan, as you can see here. I'll zoom in. Now, if you have Infraworks 360, the advanced version of Infraworks, I believe you should be able to add aerial images from Bing Maps straight onto this guy. So that way you actually don't have to download ortho images, and this actually is more convenient for international cities where it's a little bit more tougher to find ortho images for those cities. So what I'll do is I'll click on this button called Add Database Data Source, and connection type, go to Bing Maps, and you can give it a name. I'll just leave it as imagery, but then you see it gives you several levels of resolution of basically how precise you want this image to be. I recommend starting at 10. For instance, there's like 1 through 10. The higher the number, or the lower the number of meters per pixel, that's basically a higher resolution image. You don't never want to start at the lowest one because that's going to take the longest time to download. So I start in the middle and we go up or down depending. So I chose 10, level 10, click OK. Click OK. Right click on that guy, configure. That looks good. Make sure it's set to run imagery, then click on close and refresh. So that looks pretty good, but it looks still a bit too blurry, as you can see here. So I'll double click on that image there. Go to raster. I'll go to tile level, and maybe I'll make it 15. Close and refresh. As you can see, it's going to take a little bit longer, so I'll just pause the video. Okay, so that finished uploading. As you can see, it's actually pretty nice, pretty good resolution. The problem with this particular image is it doesn't have that particular resolution for those areas here, so it has this weird stitched effect. But actually, maybe this could be a good learning opportunity actually for another part of the tutorial. But first what I'll do is we have our aerial image, and what I want to do is I want to add a raster data set to get the topographic information. So I'll go into my GIS folder and find the raster imagery that I just downloaded, raster DEM. And remember, we only want to use the DEM images, not the NUM images. That'll make it confused. So I'm only going to shift select both those guys there. Click open. Double click on the raster DEM raster there. Just leave it. LL84 should be correct. Click close and refresh. And there we go. So now you see you have a topographic model of that region. The problem you can see here is that the topography is not the most precise, but again, it's okay. For the purposes of what we want to do, we don't need to have super high-res topographic models. Now, the one thing I want to show you guys is, let's say you have this situation where you don't have exact matching aerial images and you actually want to crop it. I know Rory had a question about how to adjust the extents of this model. If you want to recrop it, say for instance, you go to this button here, Settings and Utilities, and you go to the Model Properties button. And basically right here you can see in the extent line here you can redefine the bounding box. So basically with bounding box set, you can click on this button here called Edit Area of Interest. And then you can just literally drag the box to fit in the area that you want. So in this case, I only want the area that has that particular raster image, say for instance like that. hit enter, then click OK. It's going to regenerate the whole thing. Oh, there you go.